Up Guitkit family? It's your boy Bobby G here. Hey, what is the greatest feeling as a guitarist, man? It's waking up in the morning without a new guitar and going to bed that same night with a new guitar, but not knowing when you woke up you were getting a new guitar. Not even having a clue. Right? Not even having a little inch of an idea. That happened to me the other day, man. My wife said, hey, let's go to the swap meet. I said, I don't want to go to the swap meet, man. I got no money. I don't really want to go there. What if I see something I want? Blah, 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 blah. Gave her a hard time about it. She's like, just go. You know what I mean? It's a swap meet. We'll just spend $5, $6 there. Just get up, get dressed, and go. So I was like, all right, I'll go. You know? It's kind of like the end of the day, too. You go to a swap meet like 11 o'clock, and it's an outside swap meet. You're not finding anything. 12 o'clock, whatever time you went to. So I'm mulling around. You know what I mean? I see a guy who's got this gig bag on the table, man. And I opened up the gig bag. I was like, wow, what's inside this gig bag? Oh, an Epiphone Les Paul Junior. Wow. How much do you want for that? 30 bucks? Oh my God, I got $10 in my pocket. Look. And my wife hands me a $20 bill. She says, you earned it. And that's one of the nicest things she's ever done for me, folks. That's real love, people. Real love. So, let's get working on this guitar. This isn't the first rodeo I've been to in terms of, like, you know what I mean, tricking out an Epiphone Les Paul. And that dude from Green Day, Billy Joe Armstrong, actually played a white Les Paul shortly before, like, you know what I mean, this whole debacle unraveled. And it was awesome. It was an awesome guitar. So, finding this beautiful white Les Paul Junior with all the hardware stripped off of it was a wonderful, wonderful thing, folks. So let's get working on it. I'll show you a couple guitars. I have in my collection, things I've done with them that we're going to sort of, you know what I mean, try to follow, maybe improve upon a little bit with this particular build. So let's stop fucking around. Let's get working. And let's hurry this action up because I know you want to see some guitar build. Now, like I was saying, I seen that dude from Green Day playing some video on like Gibson's website, I think, a while back. You know, like a white Les Paul Junior, I believe, man. His own sort of, you know what I mean, fantasy model. Of course, he's the dude from Green Day. So, I mean, he can do whatever he wants. You know, I want to build a guitar with me eating mashed potatoes. Done. Anyway, man. I have a lot of parts, and I'll show you in a second the parts I have. Things I got to do, things I want to do from my skills that I've gathered. This is the other Les Paul Junior trick out that I did, man. Let me move you out of the way, my SG friend. It was basically a guitar body I got in a trade, and I bought a neck for it, and I tricked out the joint here with a piece of wood. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you look at the joint on there, look at the joint here, you see that there's like, you know what I mean? Now, mind you, when I did it, I didn't have any pictures of a Les Paul Junior. I wasn't like, this is, you know what I'm saying, to study. I just sort of, this is what I think it might look like, you know what I mean? And I saw pictures later on, you know, on the internet, you know, searching it, you know what I mean? I was like, well, a little bit wrong. But anyway, it looked good enough, you know what I mean, for what I had. And it turned out to be a pretty cool guitar, man. You know, these are like real Kluson things, and they're actually chrome. They're supposed to be aluminum, but I like the chrome ones better on this one. I don't know why. This is, like I said, a transfer decal. I got a set of old cheese ball. These were actually like $10 at the time. I see they're up to like $15, $20 now. You know, I found $14.65 on AliExpress for the cheapest ones. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to do something else this time. I want to stay cheap here. This neck, though, and the body were never really married for each other, man. This was like an aftermarket part, you know, made for people who wanted to trick out their juniors and put on something with a Gibson headstock and weren't like good in the shop with cutting stocks or whatever. So I'm saying that, you know what I mean, there's been some problems. I've had to lower this and raise this and lower it and raise it every now and then. Every couple of months, there's like a, you know, truss rod's been taken off, you know, up, down, left, right, you know, a million times. But I love the guitar, man. It growls, man. It growls. This is a good opportunity, man, to do that kind of fake out. But we actually have a body and a neck that are married to each other, that were meant for each other, that were made for each other, but by people who understand them. You know what I mean? Under some kind of Gibson, like, you know, when you watchdog. So, cool, man. You know what I mean? This is going to be hopefully a little superior. It might even be cooler. Fantasy model, of course. You know what I mean? This is kind of a fantasy model because it shouldn't have the lightning bolt. But I wanted a lightning bolt because I thought that was sick, man. But I'm going to do the regular old hump there. Now, this I got this guy over here, man. My boy Dougie Fresh, man. God rest his soul. He did the first test, you know what I mean, Guitkit test cat, whatever you want to call it, man, in the first video. And I was doing his guitar when he passed, man. I was going to give it to him. I got it from a kid in New Brunswick in a trade, man. We're a couple guitar bodies, and he got it 3 parts, you know what I mean. The headstock had been broken off. It was actually an Epiphone. Headstock been broken off right here and right here. So it was a body, it was like a neck and a headstock. And you can see I re-glued, you know what I mean, this guy as good as I could, you know what I mean, make it look. See, that's a nice aluminum one. That's some Sweetwater, man. That's a nice job. They're always out of stock though now, man. It's like $5, man. It's real Gibson. So anyway, man, that's a growling guitar, man. It's a growling guitar. I got Dougie's caps in there, man. I got a set of caps, capacitors off my man Dougie, and it's like the last, you know what I mean, port I got off him, man. Ah, man, it was gonna be for him. I miss you, brother. So what I did here was I took the Epiphone and I essentially just, as you can see, like the headstock, it's got the, you know what I mean, the little dimple in there, man. See the dimple, man? Dimple, man. So all I did was I put on here like 2 wood screws, like in each sort of end here. Like I would put like 2 little wood screws, like number two, just bondo the shit up. You know what I mean? Like make a little Batman ears, man. You'll be okay. You know what I mean? You'll know what it looks like, and you can, you know what I mean, shave these whiskers down a little bit. You know, make a template, a Gibson, you know, headstock template. And just, you know what I mean, you eye it up, really. I mean, it's not that hard. Put a popsicle stick in here. Just paint this guy where to tape him off, so where to keep him. Because, you know, I mean, no reason to get rid of him. He looks okay. And I'll show you the parts that we got all lined up. Now, really, like I said, man, I've done a lot of builds lately. So I lucked out to having parts. And I got one of these sitting around. I got a set of black knobs. I mean, I had to get 4 the last time, so I still got the other 2. This, I believe, came off the Explorer that, you know what I mean, we did in episode 3. Another set of 500 pots, A's and B's, man. I got one of these sitting around, laying around. Here's the other pickup, so we're ready to go. Now, with this guy here, man, now I want to explain this to you because this is something that I should have addressed over here, but I didn't have the part in front of me. Basically, on the Gibson one, because this is more historically done, you know what I mean, like a historic Trickout. The only difference with the Gibson and the Epiphones is these are real low down, you know, they should be up here and a little bit closer together, like right around here. But, you know what I mean, we're not going to cry river, but I actually like the buttons a little bit lower down. Anyway, so, but anyway, I made these, you know, I mean, there's 1 ply. This is 1 ply, 1 ply. We got the thing 1 ply. I did that, a big sheet of plastic. Actually, this one I think I bought because that was a little bit, you know what I mean. I was just getting fed up by that point. And there's a couple of them, $5. And this is 3 ply, and that's like the weird anomaly of the Les Paul Juniors. Had a 3 ply black. You know what I'm saying? Everything else 1 ply. And I saw this one came with a 1 ply black here. Now, so I'm going to do 3 ply, just sort of like a negative kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? How this had 1 ply, 1 ply. You know what I'm saying? Except for the back cavity cover. I'm just going to cut that out of that same old block of plastic I got laying around. You know, for the, if you know what I mean. After the storm, I'll still have it. So another part, man, that I want to put onto this, and this is like goes into the historic collection here, old Guitkit, man. I hope I still have it because I was thinking about it. I might have put it on another guitar. Nope, they're down there. Okay, cool. I'm going to excavate this too. All kinds of crazy shit over here. Oops. Sorry about that, folks. And these old boys. Oh, yeah. These nickel tuning machines, man. Look at that. Now, I had these on my Gretsch like 20 years ago. I put these on there initially, and they, you know what I mean, just didn't fit the bill when I wanted those Cluson ones, man. I finally got them. Look, these are nice, man. I think with the T-top, you know, these are old school, man. He's got to be early 60s, mid 60s. I believe all the bushings are still in here. Nickel bushings, original. Spill it out a little bit. We're missing some screws. Yes, all the nickel bushings are. Nickler bushings still intact. Good. Okay. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. Oh, one going on the floor. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna put on here, man. So let's get some action in gear here, folks. I'll see you in a minute. All right. So let's start tearing this guy apart. Let's take the neck off the body, and we're gonna worry about the headstock first. We want to disassemble this guy, knock all this cheesebird hardware off, and take a look at what we got. So I'm going to put you on a pause and come right back out. Weighs an astonishing, scientifically exact 4.5 pounds. That's just scientific madness. And the neck is exactly 1 1/4. 1 1/4. That's incredible. Let's take a closer look now, shall we? We're all naked. That's what we'd like. Those bushings, man, were so entrenched in that finish that like this whole side just took it off. And I was careful too. I wasn't all slack-jawed. Took off that sickly nut. Take a final look at this. We're going to get this off with fingernail polish remover. Here's the real Gibson control number. We'll never see that again either. It's going to be glued in there. Folks, goodbye. But you can see it's a real Gibson part. I'm tricking out my Gibson. Triggering around. So now what are we going to do, man? Right before we get the bondoing done, I want to shave these whiskers down. You know what I mean? Want to maybe sand these in, try to make sure those bushings fit. So usually those bushings are a little bit bigger than those cheese ball metric new bushings. And then, you know, we'll get this little popsicle stick in here. I'll come back when we're, you know, almost ready to start taping up and doing the bondo. So let's do a little bit of work here, folks. See you in a minute. Here we are, man. We're at the bondo point. Got these whiskers down. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be too pretty at this point. It just got to be smooth. Got some screws in there. We also got all the paint cleared away so the bondo can adhere to the wood in the correct and dopacetical manner. We got that Les Paul thing all taped up. We got this little popsicle stick bridge here for the truss rod Trickout. You know what I mean? We got the, you know what I mean, a little bit of tape here. We're only going to stick a little tiny bit of bondo in this guy. You know what I mean? Other than that, just going to leave the rest of it. We got every hole plugged on the headstock region. You know what I'm saying, man? We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. We're going to slap up some bondo and just do the best we can. Now, this is something that I have, this template I made years ago when I made my first Gibson headstock. And I always kind of use it to see, you know what I mean, on this size, because there's 2 different sizes. I got another one too. But see, you see what I'm saying? It's like, where do we have to be? Okay, I know, you know what I'm saying? So this is something I always like to have when I'm doing something like this. So be peaceful, you know what I mean? Take your time, and I'll see you when I'm done with the bondo trip and I'm about to start the painting. Epiphone, we hardly knew thy. Go, man. Look at that. Perfect. So got a little template. Our little template says perfect as well. Perfect as well. So that's great, man. So we're going to tape this guy up again. You know what I mean? Give it the Ray Charles test. Nice and smooth. You got the right one, baby. Let's tape this guy up and start coating this up with some filler primer. Alright? So let's filler primer up. And I'll see you on the other checkpoint. Alright, so we've used 2 different kind of filler primers. One's like a softer but thicker one, and one's like a harder but thinner one. Got the thicker one underneath the thin one. Had this guy taped off, pull it off. There's like a sheet of paper, maybe and a half, little bump, you know what I mean, difference. You know what I mean, going around this perimeter, but we're gonna fill it up with something. I'll show y'all. You're gonna like it. So I got this guy sanded down, wet sanded this morning. You know what I mean? Smooth as possible. I'm just gonna focus right now on the front. So I'm gonna tape off this back, put some tape behind here, tape this Les Paul up one last time, and let's start working on the front. I'm gonna put you on the pause. So we got it taped, you know what I mean? You don't have to do like a great job. Just tape it up a little bit, you know what I mean? So you know what I'm saying? It's all taped up. Bringing outside now the lacquer. You know what I mean? Try to get just as much to get the gold up. Leave everything else. We want to blend that guy in. So I'm going to go give it a couple coats out in the garden. I'll be right back. We are pretty much done with the lacquering. We put a couple coats of lacquer on there. This morning I peeled away the tape. You know what I mean? Lacquer is still curing, you know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff on there, man. So there's like a little, you know what I mean, depth here, like 2 sheets of paper. You know what I mean? I took a little bit of, you know, acetone and went around the edges, try to soften it a little bit. But we're just going to take some old Zinger shellac. Now, a lot of people are like the purists who say, you know, man, I mix my own shellac directly from shellac corns gathered in France. Look, man, I use shellac out of a can that says Zinger on it. Zinger, if you want to sponsor me, man, what's up, man? We're the Guitkit Nation, man. Zinger, this is Bobby G, man. What's up? So let's just build that up with this foam brusher. Brush it in there, you know what I mean, until we get this kind of level. Then we'll put the old decal on there. So I'm going to come back to y'all when we're leveled out and ready. We're hard as we can be. Got that evened out. We waited like a week even between evening it out, just so this is dry. The reason is, when you work with these vinyl transfer decals, just take a look at the Explorer video that I did. You know what I mean? If it's real wet, it kind of leaves marks. It's a pain in the ass. So, wait a while, be patient. I got these from Puerto Rico. Got stuck in the sorting machine, but always get extras just because of what I'm about to show you. See how I got stuck? I compromised one of the decals right there. See that end? That's been compromised somehow. Maybe. So we're going to use this one. Now we're going to have to cut out very carefully. I'm going to use this type of, you know, hair cutting scissors, because they're real thin. Because I got to get that eye out of there. Because I want to do the eye kind of touching the G like it should be. So now that we're even out, let's see if we can get this on. We want to get it straight. Always with the Gibson, you're going to want it, you know what I mean, straight up and down like this. You know, you don't want it like this or like, you know what I mean, this. You know, the Gibson's got to be like perpendicular to them holes, bruh. So let's get that on there. I'll cut it out and I'll come back. See, it's always good to have two. Peace. Folks, good enough. So even with some lines, that application tape, see what I'm saying? Straight. You know, Gibson's up and down straight. It's very chipsony, but it's cheap, you know what I mean? Let's get some shellac on that immediately and start leveling it out. I'm gonna put you on the pause. So now we got a coat of shellacker on there, nice and dark. We're just gonna build it up like we did before. Build it up. We're gonna build it up. Build it up. Build it up. Build it up. Like a billion coats on there, shellac. We're done with the shellacking, so we're gonna let this guy dry a couple days. You know what I'm saying? Let's go look at that body. Here we are again. So the idea in my brain is to keep this front finish. You know what I mean? It's a nice, thick, luxurious poly finish. So we're gonna clean it. Back in the transportation company days, we had some vans, and the stickers and stuff would always show up. Strange sticky substances. Always would take them off. So we're just going to get all this sticker, lots of sticker goo. You always see sticker goo on guitars, man. Put stickers on your guitar, bro. Come on now. Anyway, take off that goo. We're not going to worry about the back as much as the front, because we're going to have to repaint the back anyway, because we're going to have to plug these guys. So we're going to plug them up with some dowels, Now, also, I wanted to holler at ya, because I'm going to do all this stuff in succession now. I'll pick up, basically, we got the pickup cover here. If you align those corners perfectly, you're not going to see those holes. So I'll just glue some popsicle sticks and paint them white on the side here, just in case, because this is a little bit wider. But alas, poyoric, with the pickup in there. See how that back does not sit flush. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just take this cover here, put it where it's got to be, draw a little line, with like a mechanical pencil, you know what I mean, where, you know what I mean, after it's lined up perfectly, after it's clean. And then we're just going to go over to the drill press. You can use a router for this, but hey, drill press. And just drill out these little corners, you know what I mean, so this whole, you know what I mean, can fit flush in there. That's about that. So I'm going to do all that little chores here, and I'll come right back at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make it look easy for the people. Peace. Alright, so we're about to drill out these little corners. Now, if you take a look at the pickup here, I mean, it's not very deep. So we're just, I took a good, mental note of it. It's pretty much all this little material right here. So we're just going to do that real quick here. Drill press. And see, we got the body nice and clean with that goof off. That stuff's real strong though, man. It's got some splatter. It'll fuck any plastic up around and start eating through that shit, man. So note of caution, man. Goof off is no joke, man. He even took the patina off, man. It was like a factory fresh, man. So let's drill these out, and I'll be right back. And look at that. Look at that. Down flush. Not extremely pretty, but my poor man's router. Your router might actually cost a lot less money, but I'm more comfortable with you, my man. More comfortable with you. So let's get over there and start plugging them holes. It's dowling time, man. I challenge you to a dowel. Father Dowling Mysteries. Look, these are the most prominent holes that are going to be doweled out. And the way we're going to do it, really, we're just going to take the dowel, sharpen it with a pencil sharpener, crayon sharpener, stick it in here with some tight bond, tap it in with a little tap hammer, a little tiny bit, you know what I mean? Cut it off carefully. Make it look nice for the people, good for the people. Let's talk about dowels real quick here, folks. This is the standard dowel in the dowel market, the modern dowel market. Made in Malaysia. I got this at a mom and pop store, I don't know, last year, year before there, something like that. When I first got it, man, I thought it was a case of they just don't make them like they used to. It felt like the wood's kind of cheesy, man. A little Chesert, man. And then I noticed my neighbor passed away. He was a good guy, man, great guy. I picked these out of his garbage can. He had all kinds of dowels I guess they were throwing away, after he passed. And I realized that the wood from this 50-year-old dowel is pretty much the same as wood in the modern, man. I don't know, man, you know what I mean? I guess, things aren't always, greener on the other side, man. The good old days weren't always good. I guess that's true. All dowels are not created equal, but these dowels are a little bit a cut above, man. I got these at Walmart. I thought they were made in the USA. It says Horizon Group USA, but like 2 minutes ago, before I filmed this, I looked at the back. It looks like Horizon Group USA. It's actually based out of Shanghai, China. But credit where credit's due. These are hell of a good dowel, man. It's real strong. It's like Joe Pesci carried this in his boot before he got a gun, man. Shine box, motherfucker. Where's my tip? Very, very strong dowel, man. So we got the neck here. I gave a little bit of sand into the shellac to keep it in check as it dries. We're going to have to, after we dowel this up, sand all this this Gibson control label off here. Because we want, once it's all filled up, doweled out, we're going to want wood on wood when we glue this in there. So we're going to do that now, we're going to shave this all up. And we'll shore up all the rest of the parts. I got this part from my man, QU Kai, I believe his name is. AliExpress. I don't know what his seller name is. That's his name. He makes perfect pick guards, like $2 or $3 a piece. This is my fantasy pick guard I was telling you about. 3-ply. This is the only hole we're going to have to plug on the front there. We don't want to get any finish on the front, so we'll just drop fill that, put a little dowel in there, a little below the surface. And the last piece I ordered, I always talk about this, I say Sweetwater always has the cheapest, aluminum Gibson strap buttons, and always get them, blah, blah, blah. But you know what, man, I'm a little bit disappointed at Sweetwater's practice. I like how the fact that they give me a little bag of candy. That's pretty cool, right? Bumper sticker. This dude sends you an email, whoever he is, big man. Well, something like a little uncomfortable about them, man. The first time I ordered from them, a dude called me up next day, hey, man, so you got some strap buttons for Gibson. Cool, man. What do you put them on? Like, oh, yeah, whatever, And the next time I got him, he's hey, man, so what did you put? You ever think of buying a real Gibson? I'm like, what? And then, the third time, it's like, so you still buying, parts and, tricking out Epiphones, man? Why don't you buy, a real Gibson, bro? If you hear the Montana series, look, man, I just bought some from you. You're making me feel bad. Fuck off. Just send me the strap buttons, right? You know what I'm saying, man? I'm not, you know what I mean? Don't be greedy. You know what I mean?
If you don't want to, you know what I mean, sell Gibson components, you want to sell Gibsons, don't sell Gibson components. But don't call me up after I bought something off you, complaining that I'm only buying something for $3, then try to sell me something for $3 grand. This is a Gibson, you know what I mean? I already got a Gibson, right? It's got a sticker that says Gibson on it. I'm just tricking it out. If you don't want me to buy from you, I won't. You know, I'll buy from somebody else. But don't call me up shaming me into, you know what I mean? Why are you buying Gibson parts, man? Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm tricking out my Gibson, motherfucker. Leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Peace be with you. So let's do this, Dallin. Let's do it correctly. Let's move on. Sorry about that, Sweetwater. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings, but it's true, man. Don't be calling me up. You know what I mean? Trying to sell something else to me. Be happy with what you got. You get what you get, and you don't fucking get upset. Shine box. Dialed up, it's nice and solid. It'll look a lot better after the Bondoing and the filler primer and all that. But this is some nice solid woodwork, so we're good there. We got the neck pretty much down to his bare ass. You know what I mean? All that wood is exposed, so we got a nice wood on wood sort of thing here. I'm actually thinking of sanding this here because we're going to glue a piece of wood right over there to trick out that joint. So once I do that, I'm going to clamp this guy up and we'll come back to you on the flip of that switch. Peace. So we've got this guy clamped for a good 24 hours. Let's give her a gander. Let's see how solid it is. Solid does it. One-handed cameraman. Alright, so yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So let's start mocking this out now. We're gonna cut a little piece of wood for this. Then we're gonna cut a little piece of wood for this. So the first little wood we're gonna cut is this one because it's the easy one. So let me bring you into the wood shop, shall we? Chop our wood. Wood shop. Now we're first going to cut a piece of wood for this, and then we're going to cut a piece of wood for this. Basically, we're trying to trick it out because the Junior's got like a set-in neck, just like the regular Les Paul, and we want to kind of dumb up this joint to look like that. So I've done this a couple times. My favorite one is the TV special. Basically, for this one right here, this piece of wood, we're just going to take I have a piece of cardboard here. We're just going to make a pattern, you know what I mean, of what has to go. We got to come right up to this, you know what I mean? And it's got to be about 3/16, you know what I mean, worth of wood. So, got a piece of wood here. This piece of plywood, nice hardwood plywood. You can see where I've done it before. Several different ends. This piece of plywood for different things. So we're just going to take that pattern here, and we're just going to, you know, trace on here and cut it out with the old scroll saw. That's a scroll saw job. That's easy. Now for this guy, now last time I did it on a scroll saw, and I used a piece of like real kind of wood like this. It's like scrap wood, you know what I mean? It's like real sort of like lightweight, you know what I mean? Very light wood. But it was a real pain in the ass to sort of get it like painted and finished correctly because it kept bubbling up, you know what I mean? Basswood kind of. What do they call that on the Chinese market? Barrel wood is what they're calling it. Which I hear what you're saying about the barrel connection. Good job, my friend. Good job. Wash your hands. Listen. So, for that, I got this off my neighbor, the same guy. I picked out his trash for the dowels. He had like this. I guess this is from a maple dresser, maybe an oak dresser. Maybe even cedar. Nice red, hard wood, man. So I'm going to take a piece. I got a piece of tracing paper here. This isn't that easy to come by anymore, man. Old-fashioned tracing paper from back in the day years. And we're going to go ahead and trace on that exact shape. And we're going to put that shape, you know, onto it. We're going to take this out to the garage. Fire up that old table saw and just get some straight cuts, you know what I mean? The right, you know, thickness. And then we're going to sort of, you know what I mean? Let's take that little pattern, glue it on here, and go over to the sanding station and get it correct, man. So I'll see you when I have those two pieces of wood cut. Peace. Everything went in a Hoyle-esque, frustration-free manner. Yay. So, we're going to glue these pieces on. The first one we're going to glue on is this guy. And I've done the round over on it too, although we're going to, let's see here, be able to sand that a little later if there's any. Like that, and we're going to clamp it with a pipe clamp. I'm going to put you on pause after we've got it glued, and then a couple hours later we'll do this one. So I'll show you a little bit of each. So this one we just sort of hand clamped for about 4 or 5 minutes. Then we stuck a little bit of glue on the side. We're just gonna let it set. Doesn't look great right now, but trust me, man, Bondo's a beautiful thing. So I'll see you right when we're done clamping the other one. Let's take off this clamp. Take a gander at the goose. Nice. Now, take a look at this and be like, oh man, that looks terrible. What did you do? No. It's Bondo time, folks. So we're going to tape this up a little bit. We don't want to get too much Bondo all over this. You know what I'm saying? We just want to, you know what I mean? And this is like nice and flat, dude. This is going to be great. So, let's tape it up. And it's a nice day outside. We'll do the Bondo work outside. See you out in the Bondoing. So there we go. Beautiful spring day outside. The second round of Bondo just applied. We're going to let it dry off, sand it down. Give it one more, you know what I mean, auxiliary coat, touch-up coat. And bring it downstairs and let it dry. And after it dries, we'll give it a good sanding. And we'll move on. I'll see you then. Go, man. Sanded down smooth, feels good. Before we start messing with the filler primer, I want to put on some sand and sealer on especially this part here, just so the water from the primer doesn't make these grains pop. So I got some of our old friend here, Mr. Colonial Dude, back in action. Have not seen you, my man. We're gonna just take a foam brush, put him over this, maybe a little bit over this, probably just over this though. See. So there we go, painted with a little bit sand and sealer. Let that dry overnight. Tomorrow we'll take a good look at it one last time before we hit it up with the filler primer. So we'll see you on the morrow. Peace. Alright, people. So, it's the next day. It's nice and dry. Let's tape it up. Let's get this guy taped up. The pre-priming moments. I'll put you on a pause and we'll flip you right back when we're all taped up. Peace. Now we're all taped up, you see. Got the newspaper all taped on the front so we don't screw that finish up. Very well done. Some low-tack painter's tape. You know what I'm saying, folks? So we're just waiting on a sunny day. So I'm going to go, bring it outside as soon as it looks nice. I'll see you after the first couple coats of filler primer. Priming it up. Hit it up with the filler primer, a couple coats. Actually, we took it downstairs and sanded it off. See that? And get rid of all trace of them screw holes, folks. Not perfect. A little bit better. So this is about all we really need to do with the filler primer. We're going to bring it down there, the basement, sand it off one more time. And then we're going to start the whites. The next day, beautiful day out today. Basically, we've got that filler primer knocked back. It's nice, smooth. We try to make it as, finished as we could. Now we're just going to coat the whole back there with the flat white primer. Just straight primer. It's going to be a little bit more runnier, but it's going to be nice and smooth. Then we can wet sand it and try to get in there. The whole back we're going to do now. Now realize that we've taped off and we've left this part. This is the only part of the side that we're actually finishing. The rest of the side we've pretty much, you know what I'm saying? And, we'll come right back. And we're going to move this into the sun after we spray it down. Do it in the shade, bring it into the sun. See you in a minute. So that's the first coat. We're going to let it dry. Give it like 3 or 4 coats. And wet sand it and give it one more. And call it a day and let it dry. So I'll come back to you when we're all coated, man. Just look at that. Look how nice that heel looks, man. You know what I'm saying? It looks great. So, we're going to bring it downstairs. These primers, particularly this particular brand, should always, recoat it, or get it painted within an hour or so. Or you have to wait a day or two. It's kind of like lacquer. So we're going to bring it downstairs, pull that paint back a little bit, so we get some, a little bit of, blend it up a little bit. And I'll come right back at you when we're about to start lacquers. Basically sanded, right before I'm about to pull back the tape, you know, on the body a little bit, so we can get a little bit of blend going before we do the lacquers. We got to do this kind of quickly. This is the time if you want to do a serial number, to do the serial number. So I got my little, this is a fantasy model. So I mean, folks with fantasy models, be free to use whatever serial number you want. You know what I'm saying? So I got a serial number my mom picked out. I'm going to put it on there. I'm going to pause. I'll come right back out. Steady hand, folks. Steady hand. Perfect. Right where it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? Right in the right place. So, looks good. So we want to do this before we peel back the tape. You know what I mean? In case we fuck it up, then we don't have to retape it. You know, paint it again. But that looks good. So we're going to pull back the tape. So whites are done. And we're going to start blending that. And we'll see you again when we're outside about to start the lacquers in a couple minutes. Peace. Back outside. About to start the lacquer. We're just going to use clear old gloss Rust-Oleum lacquer. We've moved the tape back, you know what I mean, from, you can see, so it exposes the edge there, so we sort of get a little blend. The blend looks good, whites look good. When we start the lacquer, we're going to start right by the serial number, because that sometimes runs, you know what I mean, with any other, you know what I mean, we're going to go straight on that, just do the whole thing, including the headstock, which we've uncovered. So we'll see when we're all shiny and sheeny. Sheeny, shiny, like. Nice, nice, nice. I'm going to still work on the headstock a little bit. I'll flip back when the headstock is ready to go into his little nap. Headstock's done. So let's put this guy down in the basement, let him just dry off for a couple of days. You know what I mean? 4 or 5 days. See you on the flipper. In she purdy. Now, while we sort of wait for her to fully cure out, now's a good time to sort of start working on this guy right here. Because we got to wait a couple days. We got nothing else to do. Now, generally, what I've done in the past is I just take a piece of tracing paper, or you can actually take a piece of tin foil and just push it in there and you'll get the shape. Tracing paper is flat though, so it's a little bit better. Trace that out, cut it out carefully, glue it. It's a piece of, you know, standard 1-ply black pickguard plastic. Take her to the scroll saw, cut her out carefully. Combination of the Dremel and the sanding station to get it perfect. A little bit of sandpaper toward the end there. However, I've been down this road, so we don't really have to mess around with the tracing paper. I've done this before, so I'm just gonna trace the old one that I did. You know what I mean, on a regular piece of paper. Save my tracing paper, the precious tracing paper. Save it. And then let's start working on it right now. So I'll come back to you once it's all ready to go. Peace. Alright, I painted you on a Friday, and now it's Tuesday. That's 4 days. He's just so smart, Jimmy. Look, I made this. It's been 4 days. Like, you can tell the lacquer like shifts. You know what I'm saying? The lacquer shifts. I haven't drilled the holes in it yet. I'll have to drill them and countersink them once I can see the holes. You know what I mean? I don't even mess with the lacquer. 4 days, you know what I mean? I'm a purist on that concept. But it is now shiny. It's funny because I was looking at the early videos of this and I was talking about going to the swap meet and getting it. I was like in February, right? Not that long ago. You know, it's like March, what's it, 30th, 31st, right? And we're all locked down and it's crazy, man. Pandemic, you know what I'm saying? That's weird how like some of these video journals go way back to when life was normal. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so what we're going to do today, in the comfort of our own little quarantine, is we're going to get this guy sanded out, man. That's my big, before we take off any of this tape or anything like that, I want to sanding this up, because it got a little lumpy, you know what I mean? Lumpy over our 4 days of waiting. But it looks nice. Pretty nice. Pretty nice. So I'm going to flip back once I get that sanded down, knocked down a little bit, and then we'll polish it after that. You know what I mean? Once we get the headstock looking nice, take the tape off, knock off all the weird stuff. You know what I mean? And then we'll just start moving on. So we'll flip back when, you know what I mean, when we got everything sort of naked and sanded down. Peace be with you. Peace be with you. So wash your hands. Look after yourself. Looks great, man. I knocked off all the weird stuff. Headstock looks nice and smooth. Came out great, folks. I haven't, waxed it up yet or polished it. I'm still letting the lacquer, you know what I mean? I just knocked off the weirdo stuff so I can start working on the other things that need to be done. Putting the electronics in and everything. Right now I'm working on that little hole that we had to fill here. Taking some acrylic paint, right? I put it on with a little bit of the same needle brush that we've been using all along here. Colored that little thing in there that's slightly below the surface, and now I'm going to clean off this brush and put some crazy glue on there, man, and just let it dry off. And sand it down, you know what I mean, with this little thing on there, and we'll polish it off a little bit later. So I'll come back to you once that's all done and we're ready to start on the next thing. Looks so much better. So much better. Not perfect, but like 70% better. So this part's sort of been weighing heavily on my mind. Don't want to chip up the lacquer, but the holes are sort of, you know what I mean, a little bit wonky now and a little bit smaller than they were before the painting, so we're gonna have to carefully, you know what I mean, carefully gouge these out with a little file, you know what I mean, circular file, something, you know what I mean, a fine tooth, because we don't want to chip the lacquer or the shellac. So let's do that. Let's sink these guys down, and I'll be right back at you. I wanted to do this at this point because the lacquer is like in late adolescence. Still got a little bit of maturing to do. It's still a little soft. You know what I mean? The harder it gets, the more likely you're going to chip up, you know what I mean? It's going to be too hard and it'll chip up the layers and you'll have all kinds of peeling. You know what I mean? It's mature enough that it's, you know what I mean, you can work with it and you can sand it, but it's still got a little bit, you know what I mean, of drying to do totally. 6 days and it's ready to move out in its own apartment. Now look, now we're going to put a little piece of wood here on the side and paint them white. You know what I mean? Just so, you don't need to, because this is slightly just like by like a millimeter total, you know what I mean, wider than that pickup cover. So we're just going to glue these on with crazy glues. That's the fastest way to do it. Then paint them with the acrylic paint. And you know what I mean? Just a quick thing. I mean, this is not going to be very visible at all. This is just like a very minute matter. So we'll come back when that's done. There we go, folks. Gonna make that little gap slightly less conspicuous. Right in step with our nice for the people methodology. So we got the electronics cooking now, man. Let's do this now. I'm using a 22 cap little cheapies here. These are the ones I like, man. Likewise with these cheesebird 500 pots. You know what I mean? Got a bunch of them both from overseas 2 or 3 years ago. Liked them. Kept buying them. Ordered more and more. Oh, I'm just addicted, man. I can't stop with the cheap stuff, man. Oh, I can't stop. As far as the cap values, you know, I am using 22s. I know Seymour Duncan for the P90, he's recommending 47. Some people even use like a 1. You know what I mean? I'm down with the 22. That's what Gibson uses. 500, you know, pots. The pointer knob's ready. I'm also going to take the opportunity to glue the nut on. Nice new nut. Black nut. We're staying in line with what we had when we started. So I'll see you once the electronics are in there, man. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean, go with electronics. You know what I mean. If you're not able to solder, then you know what I mean. You could buy like a prefab sort of harness. You know, this is a real easy job. We're talking 1 pickup, 2 knobs. So you know what I mean. Try it, man. You know, if you can't do it, if you're not good at it, you know what I mean, then buy the harness. This is a real easy job, though. If you can't do it, then you might as well just, you know, take up sewing or something. So see you when we're all electronicked up. Peace! Helpful Horace here with another hint. Hey, man, when you change out those locks, save these pieces, man. These are great when you're doing soldering work over like a guitar cavity. You know what I'm saying? You put the pot right on here, right? And it holds it up. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be reaching in there, man. Oh, I can't reach, man. Another Helpful Horace moment. Peace. So we got the electronics done. They work. We did the tap test on the amp. Pot worked. You know what I mean? Tone worked. Got the little holes drilled out on this bad boy. So what are we going to do now, people? We have to polish this guy and start working on that paint. Now we're talking about the 5-day mark. Now we're well on the way, you know what I mean, to moving out to college. You know what I mean? this paint is pretty much ready. So we can start, you know what I mean, polishing and rubbing it up. So we're going to use the rubbing compound, which primarily we don't really need the rubbing compound because it's pretty smooth. But we're going to, you know, use that to yeller it up a little bit because it's a slightly, you know what I mean, brighter than the sides and the front. I mean, that's going to change over time anyway, but this is going to just do that trick because you see the color of it. I don't even have to explain it. Now, polishing compound is like a white paste, you know, just in case you don't know, you know what I mean? I'm talking to you guys all this time like, you know what I mean, you know what stuff is. Let's explain a little bit what it is. You know, this is a little bit grittier, right? You rub stuff out, you know, imperfections and stuff. Don't use it on fresh paint. You rub a hole right through it, you know what I mean? And this is for, like, you know, more refined sort of, you know what I mean? After the steel wool, man. This is like, you know what I'm saying, right before you're going to hit it up with wax. So, that being said, with the whiteness of it, you don't want to get it into little crevices like this. So stay away from the fretboard because it's going to be real prevalent and real hard to get out. You know what I mean? Like around here. You know what I mean? Just be careful with it. Up here, you know what I mean? Around this little thing. You know what I mean? In here, you know what I mean? Be careful with the polishing compound. But let's polish it up. And I'll come back to you on the flip. Polished. I took some mineral Earl, piece of 000 steel wool, and just got that greased up, man. Let that set for a nice hour. Then we'll come back down here, wipe off the excess. We'll hit up the body with this headstock. You know what I mean? A little bit of cleaner wax, carnauba wax. And we'll hit up the old fretboard with some butcher's wax. So I'll see you when we're all waxed up, waxy people. I'm going to go upstairs and just relax myself for a nice couple hours. Take a load off, Annie. Peace. Sheeny. Ain't she shiny? She nice. Heard it. I'm so happy that I salvaged the finish of the front. Like I said, man, I just did the mom's cleaner wax. You know what I mean? I started with, of course, the t-shirt, you know, applying it and doing the first rub. Second rub with this Dollar Tree microcloth. And this I got at the Dollar Tree a couple of years ago. Like, you know what I mean? A buffer. You know what I mean? Nice deal, man. Nice and sheeny, man. Oh, silky in the back. It's not too shabby either, man. Look how sheeny that is. You can't really see here in the light with this $3 foam. But, time to peel back the tape on this guy. Man, they're in there. Keep my electronics all electronical. Let's mount these keys, man. Now, this envelope, as I said in the beginning of the build, back in the old days when things were okay still, man. That was when, like, I didn't have the same production values as the Tonight Show. This is what the screw that comes with it. I got a box of these. 2 3/8 pan heads. It's like giving birth, man. It's close enough, right? Sort of doesn't have that wood screw look, you know what I mean, but it's gonna have to do, man. So I'm not even gonna use these 3. I'm gonna put them away in the archive in case I come up with, you know, another something that really needs one of these guys. We'll just put them away somewhere. We'll just use these for the whole thing, man. Let's get these guys screwed in here. You screw up. Be right back. Look at that. And you know, there's something about those 60-year-old tuners, you know what I'm saying, that just has that great contrast to me. You know, it gives a real, you know, vintage sort of touch to this fantasy model, man. It's a fantasy. It's not the real thing, man. Got this girl on. Looks beautiful. It looks good. Now, I actually got these tuning keys, you know, for the Gretsch like 25 years ago to replace some horrible replacements that it had. You know, didn't use them for very many years, for like 2 years. And they probably had like 2 or 3 guitars on them before I even got them because they were used. You know what I mean? They were like 25 years old when I got them. Anyhow, man, So it is, man. The traveling tuning keys, man. Let's see if a permanent home's been found for you, my Grover friends, my Grover Deluxes. Let's put these knobs on, and let's put this pick guard on and flip back to you. Home stretch, people. Home stretch, man. Oh. Oh. It's one word, man. Oh. That's gorgeous, man. It really is, man. Oh, what a fantasy model, man. It just came out exactly like my head was telling me it was going to come out. It's gorgeous. Holy crap, man. Only a couple odds and sods left, man. So this is the last time we'll be talking before our glam shots. I'm going to do the intonation. I'm not going to put the truss rod cover. I'm going to hold on to that until I'm done with the intonation, right before the glam shots. You know what I mean? Give it a couple days, you know, for the lacquer to sort of, you know what I mean? We don't want no sink downs. Well, that's no big deal. You know what I'm saying? So let's put the strings on. I got this set of strings, a bunch of these last year. Set of 9s. What these are? Hopefully that they don't have a wound G, because my other Junior has a wound G. Well, these imports have wound Gs, but I think this one said it did not. Haven't checked yet. This is the first time I've used them. What's this? Yes. Okay, perfect. So not a wound G. Beautiful. Silver steel, man. So we're going to put those 9s on there. See how they sound. Hopefully they'll sound pretty soundful. I've used these before. These are Alice strings, I believe. Pretty good stuff, man. So, let's do it, man. I'll see you on the glam shots. There it is, folks. This is like the rose that sprung up in the cracks of the pavement. You know what I'm saying? For a fantasy model, you know what I mean? It doesn't get any fucking cooler than this, man. And that sort of, you know what I mean, gold, you know what I'm saying, transfer kind of looks like a strange inlay. You know what I mean? It's just awesome looking, man. It's just like totally like uncalled for, man. And with this thing, you know what I mean, I'm probably going to take this off as soon as I'm done babbling on, you guys. Let it, you know what I mean, sort of, if you look at the Explorer video, you can see I already finished up the TV model, and I still had no truss rod cover, and I'm just going to take that off of that, you know. Sometimes 6 months after I make a Gibson tribute, I'll just take all the hardware off the, you know what I mean, headstock, and just sand it off again. I love this old meets new. I love it, you know what I mean. Because this is all finished in lacquer on the back here, folks. So it kind of feels like an old guitar from the back, you know what I'm saying? These old tuners are just like the icing on the cake, man. Oh, it's just, what a gorgeous guitar, man. What a beautiful instrument to play. What a gorgeous instrument is. You know what I mean? What a worthwhile project, you know? The world has really changed in the, you know, last month or two. You know what I mean? Since I started this, though, man. I got a couple of these, you know, video logs sort of started, you know what I mean, from back when the world was normal. You know what I mean? It's just crazy how things change so quickly, man. Well, you know, let's keep it together, folks. Let's listen to this gorgeous guitar, man. Let's take a good ear-open sort of extravaganza. Peace be with you. So here we are, end of our journey. The transformation is complete. It went in as Bruce and came out as Caitlin. Often attempted, hard to pull off. The Epiphone Gibson transfer. The turd has been polished, folks. I don't mind other guys dancing with my girl. That's fine. I know them all pretty well. And I know sometimes I must get out of the line and leave her behind with the kids are all around. There it is, man. About 5-year-old Epiphone Les Paul Junior. Successfully tricked out, man, to a fantasy model 57. Green Day guy.
Wash your hands. I love you all. Please, please. Keep it together, man. Keep it together. Look after yourself. Peace be with you. Look after yourself. Wash your hands. We love you. I love you. Be good. Peace.